Welcome to everything I decluttered in the last month and a half, starting with a t-shirt that I no longer gravitate towards. When I was heading through my youngest son's room the other day, I noticed these sleep sacks hanging in his closet. He has grown out of these, and by the time winter comes around, these will no longer fit for sure, so these are going to go. And the way I do this is I go through my home doing my regular routine. As I see something that I think we're not using as often and we are no longer enjoying, that's when I decide to declutter the item. I recently redid my bedroom and I did buy a very lightweight cover for our bed. And I want to stick with the one in, one out policy always if possible. So I went into our linen closet. I knew I had this really heavy duty blanket in there. This was actually a wedding gift from a friend when we got married, and that's over 10 years ago. So we do not use this very often anymore. It's super heavy duty and it doesn't fit our bed size. So we're going to let this go. My mom tried to talk me into keeping it, which is pretty funny. She said, the boys like to put it on the floor and, you know, in the winter and lay on it. And I said, exactly what I don't want to do that anymore. We have plenty of other blankets we could use. I'm letting these maternity bras go. I did find replacements, so instead of holding on to these just in case, I'm going to let them go. Here are a few clothing items that I had saved from a year ago in the hopes that I would have a chance to wear them and maybe I would like them come a year from now. I was on the fence, so I kept these. But I found a few items at the secondhand store that I really like, that fit me now. And since I was on the fence with these and looking at them, trying them on, I just decided I'm going to finally let them go. Here's a shirt that I had bought in desperation after being pregnant. I didn't really love it at the time, but I needed something. So I'm gonna let this go. And this is also falls into the same category. It's a very odd material. It feels, I don't know what this is made out of, but it's a sport kind of material, I guess. But what's bizarre about this is it's a sweater, which is meant to keep you warm, but it actually doesn't. It keeps you kind of cool in the winter, which is when I would wear this. So I'm letting this go. And then here's a dress that I've had forever. My mom actually has the same one in black, and you might have seen her wear it on this channel when we do videos together. But we bought this a long time ago, probably 8 years ago or 9 years ago. And it's so cute, but I've never worn it because it's white. It's not really my style, and it now doesn't really fit that great. So I'm gonna let this go. It's in perfect condition and hopefully someone else can get use out of it. Here's another sweater that I was on the fence about. I had put into my kind of wait and see area in my mind. I didn't have a special place I was putting this, but when I saw it, it stood out to me as something that I was kind of overwearing last year. And looking at it again, trying it on, I'm not going to wear it this year, so I'm gonna let it go. This is just the best way to stay minimal for me, and that is as I'm going through my regular routine, my home chores that I do, laundry, putting things away, as I see something that I'm on the fence about or that I just notice I'm never wearing, that's when I pull that item out and I put it into the declutter box. Now in the past, I would have just taken the declutter stuff that I don't want anymore straight to the secondhand store. But because of these videos, I hold on to them so I can talk through each item of why I'm letting it go. And I think it helps other people to hear this sometimes, but it also helps me because I really think through why I'm letting it go and why I no longer want it. And that helps me to avoid purchases in the future that could go wrong. For instance, saying that that sweater was a weird material. Now I know when I go shopping for something that I'm gonna stay away from anything that's made out of those weird synthetic materials that I just realize I don't really like. And it just triggers in my mind for me to stay clutter-free in the future because I know what I don't really like. So talking through these items helps hopefully you guys, and it helps me as well. So that's why I continue to do it. And then I went into my boys' room and I noticed these two robes hanging there. Now, the reason why we bought these robes is because my boys are on a swim team and we weren't sure how the swim team thing was gonna work out. So instead of investing in a very expensive parka, which is what you put on after you get out of the pool, I was a swimmer, so I know all about this. And you really need a parka, especially in the winter when you're swimming, because it's freezing. So we bought them these robes because, and they were secondhand. We bought these secondhand at the thrift store, just so they would have something to throw on when we first started swim, because I didn't really want to invest in something super expensive if a month from then they were going to say, hey, we hate this, we don't want to do it anymore. So we did this as a placeholder. Then my boys ended up loving swim and committed to swimming all the time, so I invested in the parkas, which are close to like $100. And now they're using those, so there's no need for these. They don't use them after baths or any of that, so these are going to go. Here we go with baby items. And here's just a whole bunch of toys that my youngest son has really grown out of, or we have something comparable. So we already have dolls and things. We don't need any extras of that. This toy actually broke. It had a wood bottom that looked like a house, and then the little things went in there, and the bottom part broke. So I thought, why would we keep just the top? And I actually need to go through his basket of stuff and find all these little shapes, because we have another shape thing. We don't need this many. And I want to say, even though some people may think I don't have kids, this doesn't apply to me, it can apply to you if you want it to, because what this is really representing is not holding on to things after we no longer really need them, which I think is what a lot of the clutter ends up becoming. And we don't even notice it because it becomes background in our homes and in our closets. We don't even notice that we have a bunch of stuff that we don't really need. And as I was watching all of these toys, here's a really noisy one that we don't really need anymore. But as I was watching all of these toys getting just dumped out and kicked over my whole living room floor and his bedroom, depending on where we are playing, I realized, hey, you know what? They're not getting played with, they're just getting kicked around. So now is the time to pick them all up, put them in the basket, and let them go. So we just have a few items here. We have a chew toy. And to mention something that can apply to anyone, this actually came with another toy that we are keeping. It's a fun little pushing thing, but he never played with this part of it. All this did was get kicked around and spread through the whole house. So that's something that can apply to anyone decluttering, which is if something that you buy comes with a part that you don't really use or need, we have the permission to declutter that thing that we don't really need that came with the item. And sometimes I have to remind myself of this as well, because I've bought things in the past, like my mic box, that it came with like a weird stand that I've never used in the last 3 years. And I don't know why. I had it stored up in my closet, and then it dawned on me, hey, you know what? I don't need to keep that just because it came with the box. As you can see, I didn't have a ton of things to declutter in the last month and a half. There's a few reasons for this. One, I've been super busy working on my blog, which I can link down below, and I've been working on redoing my bedroom and my office, so I didn't have as much time to really pay a lot of attention to things as I was going through my house to find to declutter. And what I'm noticing now is we are at this really great spot in our lives with clutter and with things in our house, minimalism if you want to use that word, where we're just happy with the amount of stuff we have. I don't have an overabundance of things to constantly declutter anymore, which is super interesting. I actually saw this comment on somebody else's video, and the lady said something along the lines of she was kind of getting demotivated by all the decluttering videos, even from a minimalist person, because she was questioning when it was going to ever end, that cycle of decluttering. And I have to say, after being minimal or clutter-free, trying to declutter, whatever you want to call it, for the last 5 years, I have definitely noticed, so this hopefully will be some inspiration for anyone on the fence here, that we are decluttering way less than we used to. So all of this is from a month and a half of just looking through my home. There's not that much to get rid of anymore. So, and usually I include my mom in these videos because she is a little bit earlier into her decluttering journey, so she always has a little bit more. But it's interesting because I am getting to the point where I don't have a ton of things to declutter anymore. So hopefully that will inspire you along your decluttering journey. Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support that you always leave such nice comments down below. And I just want you to know I appreciate you and I hope you're having an amazing day. Click right here to watch how to own less. See you in the next video. Bye.